stuff. And now we go over to Prime Video again because it's a Prime Video day. And we're talking Samaritan. Samaritan.
Samaritan.
This is Sylvester Stallone playing an aged superhero. Aged superhero, and with this, okay, I've heard about it. I've seen the trailer. I want to watch this, but the more I hear about it, the more I feel like there's going to be a twist in this film somewhere, and the beginning of the film tells you what the twist is. and so before we go, Sean, tell me, is there a twist in the final act of this film?
Not really, no.
Okay, cool.
No,
That actually makes me feel more likely to watch it, because if there's something that they said at the beginning that makes me think, oh my god, I think I know what the twist is here. All right, cool. So, Samaritan, tell us about it.
Okay, Samaritan. So basically, it starts off it's told really through the story of this young lad who he gets in a bit of trouble with something, but he's really brave. But he's like a big fan of this superhero from the past called Samaritan, and there was this big battle between, they were brothers to start with, and then they just became enemies, if you will. And there was this big battle, and then things started to calm down, but he still believes there's this Samaritan. He still believes in Samaritan. And he watches Sylvester Stallone, obviously. He works for the he's like a bin man, and he goes through dumpsters and things, and he finds stuff and he pawns stuff and that, and he lives alone and all that. But some things happen. This boy gets bullied, and Sylvester goes down and sort of saves him, if you will. So he's like, oh yeah. So he goes, no, I'm not. I'm just something. And then
because the boy is convinced that he's Samaritan.
The young boy is, yeah. And then basically, he obviously through this, the boys that he chased off, they knock him over, and he sort of comes, and it gets a bit, So there is so these lads that sort of bullied him, that beat him up. They're members of this big gang, and who commit a robbery, and they're not very good. And they manage to find the mask of the villain. So from like this breaking, he goes, oh, what's this? So he becomes, he's the guy. I don't know. You don't watch Game of Thrones, do you?
Oh, I have watched Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the guy who plays, I can't even remember his name now.
Pelu Asbeck. He plays.
Yeah, that's it.
He plays one of the what is undead may never.
I had it in my head. Yeah, one of the
what is dead people. Yeah. What is dead may never die kind of guys. The Ironborn, the Ironborn.
Yeah, the Ironborn. Yeah.
Lovejoy.
Greyjoy. Someone Greyjoy.
Yeah,
he's on another Greyjoy. Yeah.
He's the crazy Greyjoy.
Yeah, he's a crazy. Well, in this, he's crazy as well. But I still keep thinking of him as that dude. I don't know why, because he plays him like the same. Theon, Theon.
I think it's Ewan Greyjoy or something. Yeah.
Euron Greyjoy. Euron.
Yeah.
Well done, Euron Greyjoy. So he plays him like Euron Greyjoy, basically. A real flash. So he's the villain. He gets the mask, and it just goes into standard cliched. We know where this is going. We know where this is going. Sylvester Stallone looks so old. You know what I mean? He looks like he really looks old in this toast. And
I'm gonna say that was the makeup, because that he's supposed to be old.
Yeah. So and it ends up, there's not really a twist at all. It ends up there's fight scenes, and there's superhero bits, and it's just totally cliched, and there's nothing new in it. It's not really exciting. It's pretty poor, really, I think, on the whole. And I was expecting it to be quite good, because I quite like Stallone. Stallone, I think's underrated with some of his movies.
Oh yeah, he is.
Good movies.
So Stallone is actually he's a good actor. So he's a good actor. And people need to respect that the dude is a good actor.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, no, he was a decent actor in this, but to me, this film felt like he was there for the money. It wasn't convincing. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't convincing.
You see now that is a pity, because I was thinking with the sort of superhero boom that we've had recently, having somebody, having doing something where you have this hero is old. It's almost kind of like, so what happens when Ant-Man gets old, or what happens when
Yeah.
Captain America gets older? And I thought that there is something to be mined there, and it seems like everything I've heard about this is like they've made an old school superhero movie, like like a substandard Blade or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. There was what was that film? Was it called Hancock with Will Smith?
With Will Smith, yeah. Hancock, yeah.
So I suppose you could probably. No, could you put it in that vein?
Well,
no,
because
probably
the thing
not,
is,
but
Hancock was a film that had a very good premise. It had a
Yes.
very good premise that it didn't do much with. Because I think Hancock is about 3 different films fighting for place in there, and each one of them is interesting. But none of them have enough time to actually become a really good film. And
that's it.
Yeah,
And I think this is very similar. I think this is very similar. There's nothing really new. You basically know what's going to happen. Yeah, and it wasn't. It wasn't. For me, it wasn't exciting. It wasn't convincing.
yeah.
I mean, it was okay. It was an okay watch, but for me, it was a little bit substandard. Maybe my expectations were higher, and it would be interesting if you do get to see it. If you do get to see it, because you might think it's better with me. It would be interesting to get another take.
Well, everything I've heard about this film backs up what you've said, and so so maybe the expectations are so in the toilet now that I'll come on going, I actually had quite a good time watching that. Maybe.
Okay. Well,
Maybe.
I'll be generous because I like Sly and I think he's underrated, so I'll give this a 3. Yeah, it's gonna be a 3-star.
Let's give it a 3. But
star.
we'll be
Yeah, just
a 3, but we're being generous.
Yes.
All right.